What's up, everyone? Welcome to another week of the Monday Night Wars. This is the WCW side, week 71, February the 24th, 1997. The 76th episode of Nitro, but the 71st week they go at it. They beat Raw by a total of 3.0 to 2.5. That means through 71 weeks, Nitro has 52 wins. This is the Nitro with the 3.0 rating, accompanied by Larry Zbyszko. Tony Schiavone is the commentator for the opening hour, and then it's Mike Tenay and Bobby Heenan who join them. This is the night after Super Bowl 97, where the Macho Man screwed Roddy Piper out of the world title, and Hollywood Hogan retained. Syxx also beat Dean Malenko, and the Luger and the Giant beat the Outsiders for the tag titles. Opening up Nitro, we get the Public Enemy, Johnny Grange and Rocco Rock, taking on Jeff Jarrett and Steve McMichael. McMichael and Jarrett went at it last night at Super Brawl. Johnny grunge in with a swinging neck breaker. Jarrett goes up top, crazy on Rocco Rock. Some cohesive tag work unit by McMichael and Jarrett. Some cohesive maneuvers. Deborah is pleased on the outside as Jarrett hits a spine buster. Steve McMichael then helps Public Enemy as he hits Jarrett with the briefcase. Fans are happy. Steve McMichael is and Deborah isn't. Arn and Flair are not happy when they come out as McMichael gives the win to the Public Enemy rated at a 1.5 stars. Mean Gene gets on the mic, and Mongo says after what Double J did at Super Brawl, he needs a slap on the face for what he's done. Flair on the mic tries to settle things. Everybody woos when Flair gets on the mic. And he says that the nWo is stronger. Arn Anderson gets on the mic and says that the Dungeon of Doom is stronger, but the Horsemen got to be stronger. Benoit's in the hospital. Flair and Arn can't go, so McMichael and Jarrett got to carry the ship. It's basically the message they send. Jim Duggan takes on a guy named Galaxy and wins, and then says... he says, Hogan, Savage, I'm coming for you. Give that a star. Hugh Morris took on a guy named Joe Gomez, who's a pretty distant jobber on the Nitro brand. He's been around a few times on these results. A lead Broadway Morris, and it's a spine buster. Hugh Morris is victorious after his moonsault, which he calls No Laughing Matter. Because he laughs a lot, I guess. That's supposed to be funny. Ice Train takes on La Parka. He does a thrust kick at Cruiserweight for a big man match. A clothesline to Ice Train as he runs into La Parka with power moves. And then he comes off with a power slam. Gets the win. Rated at a 1.75 stars. The Faces of Fear took on Jericho and Eddie Guerrero. This was a really good match. Meng and the Barbarian have their powerful contrast to Jericho and Eddie, who have the aerial technical skills that are fast. So this is just a decent work of contrast here. A drop kick to the Barbarian by Jericho, and then he walks into a big boot. Eddie with a moonsault into the ring, a springboard from the outside. Meng then headbutts Eddie Guerrero, and he needs a hot tag to Jericho, but both members of the Faces of Fear take Jericho inside the ring, or to Eddie inside the ring. Jericho's on the outside apron, not the Power Man in the ring. Jericho's then tagged in and is taken off the top by the Barbarian, who hits a top rope superplex. Jericho off the ropes with a desperate roll, but the Barbarian takes control and tags in Meng, who corners Jericho and hits more chops. Jericho countered a crossbody in the corner, but the double stomp keeps him into the corner of the Faces of Fear as they cut their half of the ring, making frequent tags. Jericho in a front face lock by the powerful Faces of Fear. Jericho's body slammed by the Barbarian. Jericho needs a hot tag badly to Eddie. When he does get the tag to Eddie, he comes off with a Hurricane Rana and a drop kick and a spinning heel kick. Jimmy Hart's upset on the outside as they double team the Faces of Fear. Meng pulled the ropes and Jericho fell. Malenko comes from the back and pushed Eddie off the top for Meng to pin Guerrero. A nasty finish, but a great tag match. It was 3 stars. I rated it. Hour 2 begins as Heenan and Tenay join the commentary team. They talk about how they thought the Macho Man Randy Savage was on the side of Sting, but he's now the newest member of the New World Order. Rey Mysterio Jr. takes on Juventud Guerrero. This should be a fun match, and it is. They circle one another. Rey corners Juventud, and he corners him with a hard knee to the gut, followed by a chop and a cross arm breaker, then with a spiked DDT, a springboard drop kick from the outside. Mysterio Jr. goes to work on Juventud. Both cruiserweights have their back to the floor, and they joint hands and kicked out at the same time as the crowd laughed at that spot. As they kicked out at the same time as they both lifted their backs off the mat while their joint hands countering each other on the mat. Juventud Guerrero with just an unbelievable Hurricane Rana out of a baseball slide. Ray Jr. then off the top gets countered into a sunset flip powerbomb by Juventud. He uses incredible balance and agility to pull off that move. Juventud kicks Ray, a crossbody and a suicide dive for air Juvi. Juvi with a springboard move into the ring and a moonsault powerbomb is reversed into a Hurricane Rana by Rey Mysterio Jr., who wins in the end with a pinning cradle after the Hurricane Rana. Great match, 3 stars and a quarter. Prince Aoki defended his TV title against Pat Tanaka, who is using Goldberg's entrance theme. He's using Goldberg's entrance theme before Goldberg got there, was Pat Tanaka, but Prince Aoki defends the TV title. I gave that match 1.5 stars. Ultimo Dragon takes on Malenko, and everybody knows this about me, or maybe they do. If you don't, here it is. I think that Malenko and Dragon have some of the best chemistry there is in the Cruiserweight division. Their match at Starrcade 96, I put up there as one of the top Cruiserweight bouts of all time. So they obviously have chemistry. This is the night after Six defeated Malenko, so Malenko is no longer the Cruiserweight champion, and Ultimo Dragon no longer has his 9 belts. He's no longer the J Crown champion. Ultimo Dragon circles Malenko as he goes into a hammerlock, into a single leg pick, and then a front face lock. Then they go head to head, and Ultimo Dragon with a side headlock off the ropes, then a shoulder block, a back body drop as he lands on his feet. Malenko then ducks the move, ducks the DDT. He lands on his feet again. Both guys have defensive antics as impressive as their offense. Malenko slaps the Ultimo Dragon down, and then he gets it for a handshake, but the Dragon kicked him off. The Dragon then into an Indian Deathlock and followed by a trapezius hold. Malenko charged out to him in the corner, and then they landed on the barricade on the outside from a vertical suplex. Dragon dragged Malenko back with a rear chinlock, a modified upside-down surfboard with a chinlock, then an Indian Deathlock to counter the added pressure as he holds the leg back on him, countering for the Indian Deathlock that he hit earlier in the match. He uses a bridge maneuver for additional leverage with the chinlock, showing the man of 1,000 holds has a few more to his arsenal. A gut-wrench double underhook power slam by Malenko to the Ultimo Dragon scores him a near fall. A head-first splash to the buckle, Dragon with a drop kick to the ropes. Malenko into the floor, and then a crossbody by the Ultimo Dragon, who flies in the air. A drop toe hold, then an Oklahoma roll, gets him a 2 count. He's choking out Ultimo Dragon with a legit choke, and he ends up losing the match as they count to 5. But what a fucking match here. This was amazing. 3.5 stars as Malenko gets disqualified as the Ultimo Dragon wins. Diamond Dallas Page takes on Dave Taylor. DDP faced Bagwell last night, but he beats Square David Taylor with a diamond cutter. Then the Outsiders come to the ring, and so does Savage, and they all attack him at the same time. Savage spray paints DDP, nWo, and then they announce another member of the nWo to come to the ring, and it's Hollywood Hogan who cuts a promo. After Hall and Nash already talk about how Hollywood's the biggest icon. Then, as Hollywood Hogan says he's got a present for Macho Man, and out comes Elizabeth, and Savage goes, "Sweet." So Hogan, Savage, Nash, and Hall, the top 4 powerful members of the nWo, all go to the side for the main event, and that's Harlem Heat taking on Luger and the Giant. But before they could get going, Luger and the Giant are the new tag team champions after Super Brawl when they beat the Outsiders last night. But before they get going, Bischoff runs to the ring and says, just a minute here. We got a little problem. It's really simple to fix. Those belts are to the Outsiders. We've already seen the Outsiders getting belts that weren't theirs after Sold Out. It was the Steiner brothers 2 months ago. So now we're going to have the same thing here with Luger and the Giant giving the belts up, but Luger has a proposition to Bischoff. He says, how about we have every title belt on the line and uncensored, including Hogan's world title, and then we'll hand over the tag belts right now. Bischoff says, you're in, you're on. So the Outsiders are now the new tag team champions. Harlem Heat doesn't get their shot tonight. Luger and Giant are no longer the champions, but they got the match at uncensored for all the gold. The show ends with Sting entering the ring while Hogan smiles and Sting stands in between the nWo and WCW while Macho Man puts the nWo sign up in the air. And Sting just stands there. Hogan hugs Sting, Sting smiles, and that's how we go off the air, with Sting smiling. So again, this week, 71 of the Monday Night Wars, Nitro wins 3.0 to 2.5. This is the 33rd week in a row they've beaten Monday Night Raw. They are now 52, 17-2 through the 71 weeks. Wow. Quality rating-wise, this week is an 8 out of 10 because of the wrestling. Ray Juventud was almost as good as Malenko and Ultimo Dragon, who put on a classic. There was even a great tag with Eddie and Jericho versus the Faces of Fear. The night after Super Brawl, the Horsemen in their drama, followed by Luger and the Giant giving up their belts and Harlem Heat to end the show. Also, the nWo adding Macho Man Randy Savage with the whole DDP thing, starting that great DDP Savage feud, which was voted Feud of the Year for 1997. It was fantastic. And I'm ending with the belts handing over, the uncensored match stipulation we already have just the night after Super Brawl, already booking to the next pay-per-view event. Savage putting a thumbs up in the air. Does Sting join the nWo? That big cliffhanger. Overall, all those things included, it gets an 8 out of 10. This was a great episode of Nitro, one of the very best, and we'll see how they go after this. I'm Brett Mix, and that's tonight's Nitro. Thanks for watching.